very good evening to all the aspirants. My name is Sumeet, and as usual, today we'll take a session on current affairs. Till now, we have completed the entire month of August, and third week of August is remaining. So we will try and complete all the issues that have been doing round in the third week of August and dissect each and every topic from purely government exams perspective. Right? So let us deep dive into the subject. The first issue that has been doing a lot of rounds is about the impeachment of Central Election Commissioner. The opposition parties recently had raised a point regarding the functioning of Chief Election Commissioner, and they are in the process of moving a motion in Parliament which will try and impeach the Chief Election Commissioner. So since they have raised this point, let us try and understand the procedure of impeachment of Chief Election Commissioner. Now please understand, Chief Election Commissioner has been appointed. He is a constitutional authority, and Article 324 of our Constitution, Article 324 of our Constitution authorizes his presence as a Chief Election Commissioner. Now since it is a constitutional body, it has a very strong regulation when it comes to its appointment as well as impeachment of Chief Election Commissioner. So what I mean to say is that it is not very easy to impeach an Chief Election Commissioner who has been appointed to a constitutional body of Election Commission of India. So let us look at the procedure. The procedure has been clearly mentioned in our Constitution, and it is that there are only two grounds on which the Chief Election Commissioner can be removed from his position or impeached. And the first one is regarding his functioning. If it has been found that the Chief Election Commissioner has indulged himself in activities like corruption, or say for example, if he is incapable of running the Election Commission of India as per the rules set down by the Constitution of our country as well as the statutory laws, then on these two grounds the Chief Election Commissioner can be impeached. And the procedure is very much similar to the impeachment of the Judge of Supreme Court. The Judge and the Chief Election Commissioner both have the same procedure to get impeached from the body polity of India. Now let us look at that procedure. Now the impeachment motion has to be presented in the Parliament, right? It can be presented either in the Lok Sabha or the Rajya Sabha, and that motion for impeachment of Chief Election Commissioner has to be signed by 50 members. 50 members minimum 50 members of Parliament. 50 members of Parliament have to present that motion in the Parliament. And once the motion gets admitted in the Parliament, then the Parliament will appoint a judicial inquiry committee. Now this committee, it investigates into the charges of the proposition which has been laid out by these 50 MPs. And if the judicial inquiry, if it is of the opinion, or if it submits a report saying that the Chief Election Commissioner needs to be impeached, then the entire Parliament, consisting of both the houses of the Parliament, which is the Lok Sabha as the Rajya Sabha, will have to pass this resolution by two-thirds majority of both the houses, Lok Sabha as well as Rajya Sabha. Two-thirds majority of total present and voting MPs. So once this resolution gets passed in both the houses of the Parliament separately, then the president of our country will pass an order saying that the Chief Election Commissioner has been impeached. So this is the entire procedure when it comes to the impeachment of Chief Election Commissioner. You'll have to keep in your mind from the exam's perspective that the Chief Election Commissioner is a constitutional authority and he cannot be impeached in a easier way, right? Is that understood? That is point number one. And when it comes to the procedure of impeaching the Chief Election Commissioner, the Supreme Court judge as well as the Chief Election Commissioner both have the same procedure to get impeached. Is that understood? Right. I hope everything is clear regarding this point. Now let us go to the next topic. The next topic is about the 130th Constitutional Amendment Bill. Now this bill has been tabled in the Lok Sabha. This bill has been tabled in the Lok Sabha and it has been now assigned to a joint parliamentary committee. This bill has been assigned to a joint parliamentary committee. Now since you've understood what this bill has been, where this bill is presently in the parliament, let us discuss about the important points with respect to this 130th Amendment Bill. Now this bill, what it actually does is that it is trying to, be it the Prime Minister, the Chief Minister or ministers in general of both state as well as centers, state as well as center. Now if any minister, be it Prime Minister or the Chief Minister or the ministers related to state or the center, if they are having an allegation over them, and that allegation specifically, if found guilty, if it charges 5 years of imprisonment, if that allegation charges the minister with 5 years of imprisonment, then this bill, according to this bill, the chief ministers, the prime minister as well as the respective ministers of the state and center, they will have to immediately resign from their post. This is what this bill is trying to address. Now, according to the government, why has the government brought this bill? This bill is trying to improve the governance standards of our polity. Right? Say for example, if a CM or a PM, it is found that if he is involved in corruption, or say for example, if he is involved in abuse of power, or is involved in conflict of interest, and various other charges, he will have to immediately resign from his post. And just in case if he doesn't resign, then within 30 days till 30th day, the Prime Minister will ask the respective governor in case of state ministers as well as the President in case of central ministers to tender a resignation, to ask a resignation. The President will ask the respective minister to tender the resignation. Now, if he does not give or tender a resignation, then on the 31st day, the respective minister stands removed from the office. Is that understood? This is what the bill is trying to address when it comes to the body polity of India. This bill presently has been tabled in the Lok Sabha, and since it involved a lot of debates between both the opposition as well as the ruling party, it has been sent to a joint parliamentary committee. When I use the word joint parliamentary committee, you will have to understand that this parliamentary committee involves members of parliament from both the houses of our parliament. Like say for example, members from the Lok Sabha as well as members from the Rajya Sabha will be a part of this joint parliamentary committee. Now they will discuss various provisions and parameters of this bill, and they will give out a report. They will give out a report to Lok Sabha, which will be tabled in the Lok Sabha, and then after that the bill will slowly move towards its logical conclusion. Is that understood? This is with respect to the 130th Amendment Bill. Now various debates have been raging regarding this particular bill, and that is many newspapers have given out a very strong view regarding this particular bill. Now it is said, especially in the Hindu article, it has been reported that this bill should actually not see the light of the day. And why is that? Because please understand, the ED and CBI have the power to investigate ministers who have the allegation on them about corruption and abuse of power. These are the two agencies which as per law are bound to investigate these cases. Now you will have to understand that both these ED and CBI, they are central government agencies. They report to the central government and the central government reports to the Prime Minister. Now it has been reported in the media and various uh, articles as well as pieces that the PM, however, has the power to use this law against the chief ministers of opposition parties. The Prime Minister will be in an all-powerful position to intimidate his opposition chief ministers. Is that understood? So this is even though the intent of the bill is quite in a very right purpose, but however its implementation has been a bit doubtful as per the newspaper articles that have been reporting over this issue. Right? I hope everything is clear about this point. Let us go to the next topic. Right, the next topic is about the online gaming bill. This bill has today gained an assent from the President of India and today it has become a law. It is an act. It has been passed by both the houses of the parliament and today itself our President Draupadi Murmu has given an assent to this bill. Now what does this bill address? This bill, it addresses concerns regarding the games which involve monetary transactions. Live monetary transactions. I hope you guys are aware of online monetary games like Dream 11, Fantasy 11, right? So these games, say for example Rummy, these games, what they are doing is that they are promoting the use of money, in games, and that has led to a lot of psychological and financial losses to many people around. And given these concerns, the government has now brought out a bill to ban any game that focuses majorly on monetary transactions, where the customers are asked to deposit money and then involve themselves in a gameplay. Now this bill has been brought to ban such games. Why? Because these games, they are causing a lot of social, psychological and financial distress in the people who are a part of this game, who are participating in this game. Is that understood? Now the other point which this bill is trying to address is that it is promoting esports. When I use the word esports, you'll have to understand that this involves electronic sports as in computer games or mobile games which majorly focus on your creative skill and are majorly used for recreational purposes. Say for example games like Valorant, a computer game like Valorant, it majorly focuses on your creative skill, whereas many other mobile games like PUBG, BGM and all, they focus more on your recreative activities. Now these games, they are not banned as per this bill, and this bill also is eyeing to establish a statutory authority to monitor these e-sport games. This is what you'll have to keep in your mind when it comes to this bill. Is that understood? So this is with respect to the bill which has been recently passed by the parliament, right? I hope everything is clear about this topic. Now let us go to the next topic. Right, the next topic is about SEBI. What is SEBI? The full form of SEBI is Securities and Exchange Board of India. Now, what does SEBI do? SEBI is a market regulator of shares, mutual funds, equities and debt market. So all these areas, they come under the regulation of SEBI. SEBI, right? SEBI. Now this SEBI, the Securities and Exchange Board of India, it has recently mooted an idea of regulated venue for pre-listing companies. When I use the word pre-listing companies, you'll have to understand that pre-listing, the companies which are not listed in any stock exchanges. Say for example, in India, there are many stock exchanges. The primary stock exchanges in India are BSE, Bombay Stock Exchange, and the National Stock Exchange. Now, if any company which is not listed in these two stock exchanges, then that company is considered as pre-listed company. Pre-listed company. Now, what SEBI has done is that it has made a provision for these companies, pre-listed companies, as in the companies which are not listed in BSE or NSE, they can get into this area called as regulated venue. In this regulated venue, they can easily share their stocks in that area, right? So this is a new concept which has been brought by the SEBI. Now, why has SEBI brought this specific regulated venue provision recently? Now, please understand, you'll have to understand that in case if SEBI had not brought this, then the entire provision of these pre-listed companies dealing in stocks would have gone to the gray market. When I use the word gray market, you'll have to understand that this gray market is outside the purview of government. It is unregulated. Now, if pre-listing companies, if they list their stocks in the gray market areas, then that might cause a lot of problems. Problems like the government will lose its revenue making share from these gray markets. And these gray markets, they also promote black economy, and this might also in turn get harmful to retail investors, common investors like us, retail investors. Now, keeping in mind these concerns, the SEBI has now brought in this regulated venue where pre-listing companies can offload or purchase or sell their stocks to retail investors in a regulated environment. And through that, what SEBI is trying to address is that it is trying to increase the government revenue, as in the government can tax the sale and purchase of those shares in the regulated venue. That is point number one. Point number two concerns the black economy. Now, since government would be regulating that part, so it will be outside the black economy. No unverified sources can get into this market and do transactions, right? Is that understood? It will be under the purview of the government. And the third point is that the retail investors will get a very good amount of market access in order to invest their hard-earned money, and they might also get good returns on that, right? All these concerns have been addressed by this regulated venue which has been mooted by the SEBI. I hope everything is clear about this topic. Now let us go to the next topic. The next topic is about India's astronomic, the space movement of Indian country, right? So recently the central minister, Mr. Jitendra Singh, in the parliament, he had said that India will soon be launching a manned mission to moon, and the date has been set. It has been set that by 2040, India will send a manned mission to moon. Is that understood? Now, this is in line with India's vision of turning into Viksit Bharat by 2047, right? So this would be the first mission where an Indian will be going to the moon. This has been announced recently by the central minister in the parliament. Now, looking at this mission, there are some other important milestones which the space research of India is trying to achieve. Say, for example, ISRO is slowly developing into a space power. It is making India a space power. Space power as in India will be having a very good dominance when it comes to space sector, space power. Now, keeping this space power scenario in mind, India has also planned other projects. Say, for example, Mission Vyomamitra. Mission Vyomamitra. According to this mission, an unmanned crew will be sent to the outer space, and that unmanned crew will be led by a robot, a humanoid robot called as Vyomamitra, and that has been planned for the year 2027. And apart from this, India is also looking forward to send a manned mission called as Gaganyaan into space. Gaganyaan, and that has also been planned for the year 2047. By 2027, sorry, by 2027, India is sending manned mission to the lower Earth orbit. Then after that, in the year 2035, India is also planning on mission Bharat Antariksh mission. Now, according to this mission, what India is trying to achieve is that it is trying to build its own space station in the Earth's orbit. It's nothing but an operation involving the building of space station in the outer space. Now, this will be achieved by 2035. Right? So, these are the upcoming projects when it comes to ISRO space agency. Now, India, by doing all these missions, by undertaking all these missions, what is India trying to achieve? India is trying to be a space power. India is trying to be a space power because there is a lot of resources which can be churned from space research. That is what India is trying to achieve. I hope everything about this mission is clear. Now, let us go to the next topic. The next topic is about Kerala, the state of Kerala. In the state of Kerala, recently there is an amoeba, an unicellular organism has been found, which it is said, which has been many scientific journals, papers, and newspapers have said that it is a brain-eating amoeba, and it has been reported that this brain-eating amoeba is generally found in lakes, ponds, and wells. Now, this is a unicellular organism. The name of this organism is Agrelina fowleri. Now, this unicellular organism, it causes a disease called as meningitis encephalitis, and this is a disease which causes the unicellular organism to eat brain. Now, it has been found that this unicellular organisms are generally found in lakes, ponds, and wells. Now, if any human being, if he just goes into these lakes, ponds, and wells, and if he swims, it has been reported that this unicellular organisms, it enters the human body through the nose. And from there it will make its way up to the brain, and then when it reaches the brain, it will start eating the major tissues of the brain. This has been reported in the newspapers. Now, let us look at some important facts about this particular disease. Now, if any human being, if he is contracted by this disease, you will have to understand that he has major symptoms like headache. He will have headache, then there will be fever, right? So, these are the major symptoms which he'll be getting. These are the primary symptoms, and the secondary symptoms concern many problems like confusion, and it might also lead to coma. These are the secondary symptoms which people have reported. Now, after that, it has been found that there is no cure for this particular brain-eating amoeba. The only bacteria, the only things which work against this are antifungal and antibiotics. Antibiotics are the medicines which are given to combat this particular disease. And it has also been found that the survival chances if one contracts this disease is very low. Globally, it is reported that only 3% of people have survived this disease. Is that understood? Now, this disease has been recently found in Kerala, and it has been found that this particular Nagrelina fowleri, it thrives in temperatures up to 46 degrees. 46 degrees. Now, keeping all these things in mind, the government has passed a resolution saying that all the people who are especially located near water bodies will have to be careful. They will have to think twice before getting into unclean ponds, wells and rivers. Right? This is with respect to this topic. Let us go to the next topic. The next topic is about Agni 5 missile. This missile has recently been launched by the DRDO. DRDO, the Defense Research and Development Organization, is the organization which has launched this missile. And let us get to the specifics of this missile. Point number one is that its range is up to 5,000 to 5,000 kilometers, 5,000 to 5,500 kilometers, which means it is an intercontinental ballistic missile. It is an intercontinental ballistic missile. When I use the word intercontinental, you will have to understand that this missile has the capacity to traverse various other continents. Now, given the range, the probability of hitting Eastern Europe as well as Eastern Africa and Northern Africa is quite a possibility. India has gained this capability through this missile, and this missile is also nuclear capable. A payload of nuclear can be added into this Agni 5 missile. Now, before this Agni 5 missiles, there were other missiles like Agni 4, Agni 3, Agni 2 and Agni 1. Now, this classification is based on their ranges. Right? So that means Agni 1 has a very low range, which is 700 to 1200 kilometers. Whereas Agni 2 has slightly more, like 1500 kilometers. Then comes Agni 3, which has a range of 2000 to 3000. Now this Agni 4 has a range of 3000 to 4000. Now this Agni 5 is a much bigger missile, and that has a range of 5 to 5500 kilometers. Right? I hope everything is clear about this Agni 5 missile. Okay, now since everything is clear about this, let us go to the next topic. Right, so this is about today's session. Thank you so much for being a part of Classic Education. Thank you.